I've gone without pay to make sure that my people got paid. When times are tough, when the market is shrinking and houses aren't being built, it's hard to be a trim carpenter.
Steve Gerald, welcome to Southwest Florida Spotlight.
I appreciate you bringing me in. This is a unique experience.
Dad's running this business for, in the beginning while you're still a young man, still in school.
I was working at Moss Marina on Fort Myers Beach,
So
driving a forklift.
You were not a carpenter in your high school years.
No, I was not. I was a high schooler working on Fort Myers Beach, hanging out in this area, growing up around here with all my friends for my whole life. Sometimes my dad would be leaving for work at 6, and I would be coming home on Friday night or Saturday night. So I didn't have the work ethic that he had. When he was trying to feed our family, I was, 18, living on the beach. I didn't really have a desire to be a carpenter until I got out of the service and realized I met the girl that I wanted to marry while I was in the service. And I recognized that I wanted to bring her home to Fort Myers. So the family business was attracted in the sense that I could kind of build off of that.
So growing up in this area, you get to experience the beach. You get to experience that classic South Florida upbringing.
Yeah. It was a hands-off upbringing. My mom and dad were both realtors. So that means that they made little money and worked hard. Carpentry came later, but, luckily, not only is John my dad, but he's an excellent carpenter. So teaching me that, I'm not the carpenter that he is. I'll be honest. I'm not. He's a better stair installer than I am, but we're a good fit, together.
So you graduated high school, left for the military. Is that right? It was like
roughly. I stayed.
Roughly.
Got an associate's here at Edison. So that gave me a leg up. When I joined the service, I came in as an E3. I made E5 before I got my 3-year service strike, which was kind of cool.
That is cool.
Now, granted, we were a critically short MOS, but still, This area did change a lot, and I grew up on the beach, so I was in service even there at Moss. People would come in, fuel boats up and watch the beach grow. So in the military, I was a 96 hotel at the end. Came in as a 93 Bravo, which was an observer in an aircraft. Ended up as an operator in a shelter, a computer. It made me computer savvy, made me have to be a team leader because, my first experience with being overseas was, hey, here's 5 pieces of equipment and 10 soldiers. You're the ranking E5. You're landing in Frankfurt. Take these people to Hungary. So it made me kind of have to adapt and take leadership, and I do it often. If I typically am in a spot, I'll end up, moving towards trying to be in control of it for the good or for the bad,
Probably more often for the good than for the bad.
Well, for our company, for sure. We're probably the most computerized trim carpentry outfit. I heavily integrated as much technology as I brought from the military into Herman Woodcrafting.
And then you ended up working for your family business.
So in 2000, I graduated from FGCU. We were the first class, and at the time, construction market was solid in 2000. 2001, my dad and I talked. He was approaching retirement age. He wanted to turn the business over to me. Did it until the market really tanked in 08, and then we pivoted a little bit, did what we had to survive. He kept going, He's got employees from that time that he maintained through the slowdown, and then now we picked back up significantly.
40 years.
It's a long time.
Long time.
I've only been doing it full time for him since 97 when I got out of the service. But, it was a good way to earn my way through college. Got exposed to the trim craft, learned to do all the different facets of what the company did. And then the management opportunity just presented itself, me being the owner's son and all. I fought some nepotism, but, I like to demonstrate and kind of lead by example, so it worked out.
The team that you have, you've grown and you've shrunk and you've grown again.
So it's weird because we've been in the market for so long. Initially, we had a lot of employees. I had to terminate 20 of our 25 carpenters. I had to terminate 4 of the 5 office girls, all of my supers. And we went down to just John, the owner, 1 office person. But since then, since 08, and the market has kind of changed a little bit, we've changed our model. We brought in some specialists, some subcontractors that will take portions of what we do. And then I can control my hourly people on, the critical parts of it. But it allows us to be competitive and flex up and down in size as the market kind of expands a little bit. So
it's allowed you really to adapt
We do, and we have a big footprint, when you consider Marco Island to Port Charlotte out to Sanibel.
Yeah.
It's a big amount of miles. Most of the builders fully utilize us. They'll take us from the beginning of their job, exterior doors, pocket frames, at framing, all the way to the end. After trim, we'll do hardware. We'll do, towel bars, accessories. Different builders will have different things that they include with their homes. So, we kind of flex to whatever they require.
Okay, yeah.
Somebody has to put that stuff in, and most of the times, it falls on the carpenter, the guy that puts the door in, the guy that sets that exterior. He'll end up doing the hardware, so that kind of lends itself to learning that part of it also. But it's something that we can offer as another type of service that you would maybe not think of from a carpenter. I pick up jobs that may have certain types of install that we're not familiar with, but we'll get familiar with it. Products are changing all the time. They go from, actual wood to synthetic to metal. When I tell someone, yeah, I trimmed in Bonita Bay, they think, okay, well, that's one spot, Bonita Bay. But in Bonita Bay, there were 6 sub-communities, and each one of those communities sometimes had 10, 20, 30 houses in them. When I moved from there, the number of units is, remarkable. Sometimes I get a call to come to a house, and it's a house 25 years ago that we trimmed, and the people are like, the style is just old. We want to update, we want bigger base, or we want bigger casing, and it's funny to see these houses come 25 years full circle. And we adapt to all that, We have the ability to change stuff out. It's cosmetic, it's easy, it's not super expensive.
And that's an interesting thing, is that for the individual homeowner that might use you, it can be, you've got a dated style and you want to improve it.
From a sales perspective, if it's wood inside your house, I can install it. We're kind of like an untapped resource for the average homeowner, because we really work typically for the builder. To have somebody that it specializes in coming in and doing a whole house worth of door casing and baseboards and window moldings and crown moldings. Everyone doesn't do that. Guys can do it for sure, but they don't specialize in doing a whole house. And we do, multiple houses every day, because that's something that they may not have even thought that they could get, access to a kind of a commercial trim carpenter.
And there's advantages, like you said, it's just even if it's speed, even if it's being able to do bulk of work, that kind of thing.
And I have a good price point, to be competitive in a commercial market. You have to be able to put your product in fast, accurate, which means I can price it competitively. So when people see it, they see our price point is low. It's because we're accurate. I'm confident in what our guys can do, and I price it accordingly. I do all the pricing, I do all the billing, I do all the scheduling. So I get a tight control of that.
Let's talk a little bit about what it means to take over a business from your father. That doesn't happen a lot. You don't see multi-generational family businesses going, and it seems like you guys have something really special.
We do. Taking over might not be the right word.
Okay.
It's a partnership, and really the way I set it up was kind of like, as long as he wants to be contributing to the company, I'll find a spot for him. And in my 70s, that's how I would hope to have it. And if Nick, learns the right way from me, hopefully he'll do that for me when I'm in my 70s. Well, I don't owe allegiance to anybody except for John. John Herman is the owner of the company. So I do everything. He's the president. Now he trusts me and I run it. I'm responsible for the ups and the downs. And when it's bad, it's my fault. And when it's good, it's also my fault. But I do it because I love it. It's supported not just our family, but, all the people that have worked for us for 20 plus years, their families, their kids.
And what does that feel like? There's always pressure, when you have the larger corporations, they a little bit more ruthless. They just kind of cut workforces all the time, bring them back in when they need them, cut them when they don't. I feel like I'm getting a different vibe from you on.
Yeah, I've gone without pay to make sure that my people got paid. Yeah. When times are tough, when the market is, shrinking and houses aren't being built, it's hard to be a trim carpenter. I try to find new avenues of work for us, new products that we can install, new ways that we could be beneficial to the builder. Being in the service industry, a lot of people don't like to make phone calls or show up on a weekend, but I find sometimes that's the easiest way to get it in. Christmas Eve, when everyone wants to go on vacation, you got somebody that's willing to work an 8-hour day. It's amazing the amount of future work you can line up by working that day, that one day. If it could be installed and it's something that you can deliver, I can install it.
So you're good with training.
Oh, yeah.
To So if you are looking for carpenters, they don't have to be highly skilled already. You can train them on the job.
Yeah, and actually sometimes that's what I prefer. People that have experience a lot of times, may have a habit or they may install stuff a certain way. Somebody that just has a willingness, and it has to be, a certain aptitude. From a no experience to moderately, handy, I can take them. And I can turn them into not only somebody that's valuable for me, but, down the road, if you learn how to do this job, you could literally work anywhere. You can learn how to trim, from me and take that for the rest of your life. And I take pride in that because, that's something that is a skill. This is the first time I've been hiring in 8 years. I signed up some work 2 months ago that increased my workload. And then now I feel like I need to start beating the bushes and bringing some young talent in so I can train kind of, the next generation, or at least some companions for the people that we have.
So let's talk about what you hope to pass on to the next generation, other new carpenters that might come to work for you.
Well, one, the work ethic that Herman Woodcrafting has. I mean, when we come out, we get jobs a lot of times because of the product that we put out. But you typically contract with the people that you trust, So for us, having 40 years worth of experience, we have that trust built in. That ability to kind of continue us on, train the next generation of young people that, kind of maybe looking for a trade. The amount of carpenters that start off with us that have no experience and end up to become business owners or become cabinet installers or to kind of move up is a lot. I've had carpenters that have gone on and become GCs, builders, local in the area, and that have started off working for us. I've got GCs that, have more skill level than me that work for us as carpenters because we have access to the work. They're licensed to do it, but, they choose to work for us because we give them the work and we pay them accordingly. So instead of going out and doing their own general contracting, they find it more lucrative to work for us. That says something,
It does.
And that allows me also to put good people in the field.
Yeah.
When I send someone out, I know that not only are they capable of doing the work, they're qualified to do it.
So what does it mean to you to live and work in Southwest Florida all these years?
Owner of our company, John, came from Buffalo, New York. So there was a working season up there. And that's really why he came down here, was because when it was winter up there, you couldn't side. Come down here, and you can work pretty much all year round. So that was an advantage. Also, our whole family is here. Most of our family, once they realized that we were down here, they started moving from Massachusetts. They started moving from California. When I say we could put 30 or 40 people at Easter dinner, we can. And, having that resource to draw from, like to grow our kids up together and vacation together, go into business together a lot of times, it's nice.
Steve, if somebody's looking for Herman Woodcrafting, how can they find you?
You can go to hermanwoodcrafting.com, or they can call our office number, 239-433-2600. Call will be returned.
Steve, Gerald, thank you for taking time with us today.